We all know our five senses, right? Our mouth for tasting, our eyes for seeing, our ears for hearing, our hands or skin for touching, and of course our nose for smelling. But to put our nose last as the least on the list of senses is complete nonsense. I believe that the sense of smell is the most important sense there is. Our sense of smell is crucial and it proves its worth when we and other living things perceive the world we inhabit. First, I'll explain why it's important. Second, how strong our sense of smell is when compared to other living creatures. And third, show how the sense of smell helps us perceive the world that we live in. Now, let us see how the sense of smell is important. The sense of smell is crucial for both humans and animals alike because of how strong the olfactory receptors are. Some animals have great smell advantages. For instance, the polar bear lifts its nose upwards to smell the scents of seals up to 5 miles away. Fruit bats are even capable at night to smell the overripe fruit that is placed on trees and leave the ripe fruit for other animals. And of course, this is all possible because of how strong their olfactory senses are. For humans, smell allows us to aid our other senses. For instance, our nose is able to distinguish 10,000 different odor molecules. In the text, sense, and perception, humans use scent to connect with what is seen. For instance, when we see manure and we are able to perceive its scent because of how often we smell it here. Also with fire. Once we smell the smoke produced by fire, you are able to recognize that something is burning and you can point out with your nose where that smell is coming from and use your eyes to locate where the fire is. Now that we know how important the sense of smell is, let us sniff out how our sense of smell compares to other living creatures. Humans are on the top of the food chain, but that doesn't mean that we got there because of our senses. When compared to other animals, our sense of smell is quite poor. Other mammals use scents as a primary scent. Dogs, for instance, can be trained to pick up the scent of drugs, explosives, and even cancer. Fish also have a superior sense of smell when compared to us. For instance, a shark has 2/3 of its brain made up of just for smell. Other living creatures don't even require a nose to perceive smell. For instance, Science Daily report says that ants walk around in the area that they live in, and that each ant is able to pick up the scent left from other ants. So as you can see here, 3 ants are making their trail, and only 1 ant has found the source of food. So when it comes back to its home, all the rest of the ants are able to follow the scent and trace the location of the food. Even bees follow the scent of flowers more often than they use their eyes to perceive the color of the flower. Fruit moths are even able to smell the location of their mates from a couple miles away. Now that we have learned how our sense of smell compares to other people, let us bury our nose deeper into how our sense of smell helps us perceive the world we live in. The sense of smell helps us perceive our own and express our own environment and express itself in what we think of it. Perceiving with the sense of smell fills in the gaps left in from other senses. For instance, the sense of smell influences our sense of taste by 80%. Our sense of taste only allows us to dictate 5 distinct sensations while our nose dictates the rest. So when you're sick, you notice that food doesn't have much of a taste because our nose creates the rest of the sense. And also, smelling can lead us to what's around us. For instance, when you don't see or hear someone coming into a room, and you smell their odor, and you're able to understand that someone has entered the room, and locate where they are in that room with your eyes and ears to help aid you as well. Our sense of smell also recalls memory. For instance, when we remember food. In Rachel Hirsch's book, Sense of Desire, scent reminds us of a craving. So once you pick up the sense of a smell and you're able to recall it to something else like food, you really want to crave that sense of food and have it, and you'll go out of your way just to obtain it. In an interview also with Rachel Herz, she also managed to do a study about how the smell of coffee allows us to wake up from sleep. And that we don't wake up and then smell the scent of coffee, but we in fact wake up due to the scent of coffee. Now that we know why smell is so beneficial, I'll go over what I've explained. First, the sense of smell is important to us. Second, how our olfactory senses compare to other living creatures. And third, how we use the sense of smell to aid us in the world that we live in. The sense of smell allows us to perceive the world we live in, and it allows us to survive and live. Our top senses may be thought of as sight and hearing, but hopefully after today, you'll recognize that the sense of smell is in fact very important. Now let us all just take a big whiff.